Welcome everybody, and today I've got a epic 3v3 on NTW3, the mod for Napoleon, and this will be the Battle of Austerlitz. And we have 3 guys on the French side and 3 guys on the Russian-Austrian side, and as you can see by the landscape, the Russian-Austrian force has got some very good ground, including the Pratzen Heights along here. Now in the actual battle, Napoleon played a blinder by showing his right flank down here by the villages to be very weak, which the Allied forces then came off the heights and attacked, and while they were focused on what they thought was the weaker side, they pushed in a fierce assault to take the heights in the centre. And as you can see, the victory points, it's 4 along those heights, and there's the Pratzen Heights on the end there, formidable to take, as you can see. And there is 3 along this side, and you need at least 4 victory points for a marginal, so the French would at least need to take another one of those, and to take the LOC in the back you need at least 5 victory points. So we made the plan. We'll just check the forces out on the French side. We've got 2 players over on this side, as you can see, 2 corps, and I've got some in the centre facing the heights, and I've also got some forces on the right. But as you can see on the right, who do we have as reinforcements? We've got the French Guard, the 1st Corps, they come in at 83, 78 respectively, Fryen, and 2 other divisions that come in, 75 and 72. And here's Fryen's force over here, so they won't be able to be moved on the French right until 75 is gone. We start at 90, so these won't be able to be moved till later. So all I've got on the right is a couple of battalions, one by the road and another one, and 1 battalion just here. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave some forces on the right, but very thin. With the fog of war they won't be able to see how many we've got, but we're going to try and hold just enough forces on the right to hopefully get the Russians and Austrians. They'll be so much wanting not to lose these heights. You can see the points where if you take, that's a victory point there. Monuments, it's a nice touch, it's a good idea. And basically we're going to hope that they put so many troops on these heights, because they don't want to lose them, that they haven't got enough troops in the centre and on their right to defend these heights. As you can see, as you will see, the French will be marching up this hill, that we outnumber them, we give ourselves local superiority, and once we smash the centre or their right, then we can turn and then advance on the hills or take the LOC, which is at the back there. So all the moves have been made, the plan's set. We're going to leave that one, but we're going to have a few sporadic forces, and we're going to pull the forces together. I think it's from Sam's Corps, and we're going to pull this one through as well, myself on the right and centre, and we're going to meet in the centre there and either push straight through, or we're going to turn and take their right, our left. So all the moves have been made, the columns are on the move. As you can see, the force is moving. Now with the fog of war we have no idea where the Russians are going to place the south. Personally I think it's going to be around the Pratzen Heights along the centre, and I think they may move their right forward a bit to try and defend that victory point. It's just a matter of seeing when we get there. So we've got the centre slowly moving through this ground. It's a great map. They'll be crossing in the centre. There's not many crossing points, so the initial bit will take a bit of time just to get into place. I think Durin's on the left. And I'm going to be pushing my meagre forces, the Grand's division, over on the right. Now we're expecting to face what I would imagine would be a lot of Russian artillery. I think the majority of them are only 3-pounders, so the range won't be great. But I do expect to see a lot of artillery. Whoops. The French not so much. But they will have their quality in cavalry and infantry. Let's get back to the centre. So I'm just going to place a battalion. There they are. Just going to place them in the strong point to anchor the far right. I'll bring another one. Battalion there to just hold this village in that strong point. And these guys, they'll just defend the wall, just in case the Russians decide to come over. Now, if the Russians do decide to come over, I have nothing at all to stop them, apart from these 3 battalions. So it is a gamble, it's a risk. We're throwing it out there. Hopefully, he's going to turtle on the top. I mean, you're not going to want to give those heights up in a hurry. But if they do come down, I'll go for my victory points, French victory points. Got 2 there. I've got nothing to stop them, apart from Friant's division at the back. But as I said before, they don't come in till 75, so another 15 minutes. So slowly we're getting there.
We have taken the building, sir!
Crossing over. Still no sign of Russians. I have sent a scout unit out just to check on any enemy movement. Forces moving in on the centre. Heavy cav, Crassier. And the French forming up on the left after the crossing. So where are the Allies going to form their lines? Still no view. Will they go on the offensive or will they go on the defensive? Lighter infantry there, they'll move slightly faster. And it looks like Van Damme's division, Sam in the centre, he's staying parallel with me moving up. We're going to try and get as far up the centre as we can, just going to keep pushing until we see where the Russians have formed a line. And there we go, we've got the first Russians that we see. Looks like horse artillery. Lo and behold. I think I know where they're going. Yeah, Russian infantry. looking down on the field. See the columns moving up in the centre. Yeah, they've already got those heights. But will they come off them? As I say, I've only got 3 battalions down here. If they come on that wing, it's going to be a hard job for me to hold. But I'm hoping psychologically, with that ground to defend, they just become fixated on this victory point. Although they are moving down, which is a little bit scary. And we've got some battalions that have now arrived in the centre. Large battalions. But they're not pushing up. They're happy to just stay this ridge. Could be that this corps is all the same on the left, on the Russian left. They're going to plant the artillery. Thankfully it looks like they're forming defensive line just below the heights. So as you can see, the French merging in the centre towards this victory point, which is just about to take. French left's moving up slowly because of the terrain, trying to keep up with the centre. A lot of cavalry in reserve. We've got the reinforcements that can't move yet. They'll be moving later. But as you can see, the French right, totally void of any sort of forces. But for the moment, the gamble's working. And he's moving more men to the Praxton Heights. Meanwhile, the French columns march on. Do you believe I've got 1 artillery unit? Yeah, it's on foot, so it's really slow. I'm going to guard that with a chasseur cheval, just in case any naughty Russians try and take out my artillery with light cavalry. And we're just going to keep marching up the centre until we can't march anymore. Try and take as much early ground as we can. We have
taken the building, sir!
French left, you see the terrain while they assemble the army there. To really stop them from moving forward early. And is that Russians or is that French? Yeah, there you go. They've moved really forward. Which surprises me a bit actually, because if you look at that line, I mean they could try and envelop the centre, but if they stay defensive then they've also got enfilade fire maybe, but that flank looks like it's got a good anchor on that victory point with a stream. But if they move too far forward, I think it may open a gap for us to hit the weak point. We shall see. But now it looks like the artillery has started, so it's time to form the line. We'll settle for that distance taken. We've got the victory point. Let's put the infantry into skirmish, because we're going to take a lot. You saw that cannonball fly past them. We're going to take a lot of artillery fire, and you can see the ridge that they defend. It's going to be a tough ask. think they may be 3-pounders though. Yeah, so they haven't got much range. But the closer you get, the more effective they are. And if you look from the Allied line, you can see the French approaching in the centre. So we still haven't spotted the full right of the Allies yet. But slowly but surely, as the troops get up here, can't do anything yet. Now might be a good time for the Allies to attack the French. I think they're happy to just stay defensive and pounders for now. Cavalry in reserve. Uhlans. Light cavalry. They've got them behind the ridge, that's a good move. Away from any artillery fire. Quick reload on the 3-pounders. And Sam's got his columns formed. Got Van Damme's division at the front. As for the Pratzen Heights, looks like he's just setting himself for defence, fortunately. And we've got more and more troops coming to the centre. Looks like the cavalry's crossed. More infantry on the way. And we're going to hold with what we've got for now, until we feel we've got enough troops to actually make an attack somewhere. You can see the line focusing more and more. The Austrians moving over. What looks like from the right flank to bolster the centre. Always important to keep columns by your artillery, especially if you're massing it like this. 12-pounders. That way, if they're in column, if cavalry do charge your guns, which does happen quite often, fall square instantly. So it's always useful, guys, to stick columns by the guns, as I say, especially if it's massed. Now we see more of the right. Far right flank of the Russian Austrians. And they've anchored it again with some 3-pounders and some light hussars. Durin's formed up. But as we stand here taking the artillery to the face, we just want to get more numbers in this centre. As you can see, the right has moved a lot more forward because this victory point, it's sort of pulled them in, so they're moving more forces that way. We have got a scout just trying to scout out. They won't be able to see much because the men are in buildings, and it looks like, yeah, 75 minutes gone, so Friant's division, the reinforcements, they can actually move now, and we're going to bring them in to actually secure the right in case they do come down the Pratzen Heights. But for now, it's looking like the plan's working. I've just brought a battalion more forward, so they're in sight. In the funky brown uniforms. Just so they know that something's here. They may think more is behind in the woods. It isn't, but they don't know that. And some French artillery has been brought up at last to bring some supporting fire. As you can see by that shot, I'm just going to go for the infantry, try and whittle some down in the centre. They do have a lot of infantry, so it's going to take a while, but you've got to soften them up somehow. And then we begin to see something, maybe an opportunity. We've sort of got enough forces in the centre now. 2 corps come together, other reinforcements can move now. They'll take a while to come up, but with what we've got, if you can see what I can see, there's a little gap right there. So Napoleon, he orders French left to go up and engage that line. And what we're going to try and do, you can see the cavalry changing direction. We're going to try and force this gap. From the enemy's point of view, they can see a strong centre. From the French, it's bent back in a bit of a semicircle. They can see troops on their left, but they don't know how many. And they can see a large amount of troops on the right. And what they've tried to do, I think, is anchor around this village. I'm sure any players of Total War will know the path finding around villages is not really conducive to march through, so they'll have to go round. So yeah, Russian Guard. It's a good move, he's moving them to secure the left. Some movement of troops. And we've got a lot of mass cavalry. Fight rages on in the centre. Duke Constantine sees a little flank in the left, hanging in the wind. And I think that's what they're going to go for. On the right they've placed cavalry so artillery can't really shoot them. Yes, sir. Always a good move because cavalry is really susceptible to artillery fire. More artillery moving up. Russian Guard artillery. These are strong forces. Got the Russian Guard. Looks like he's chosen those to be offensive with. So we've got fire from the Pratzen Heights, fire from all the batteries in the centre. How the hell is this French force going to crack that nut? But we do have more reinforcements moving up. Looks like just in time. So you can see that initial gap. Strong force, very strong force. But is there anything behind this? I think that's what we're going to try and push. You can see the cavalry massed, got more infantry moving up. Can hold the line. Looks like there's a bit of a scrap over on the right between scouts, and we've got scout cavalry there.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
Yeah, they'll be trying to shoot down this infantry. you can see, even more infantry at the bottom of the heights. And this is perfect. The plan is going pretty perfectly. There's a little bit of light skirmishing on the right. Cavalry's gone in, it's fared badly. Some casualties on the infantry, but the advance guard seeing off the cavalry. But there's a lot of forces on these Pratzen heights, and that's what we were hoping they would do. Because if your forces are over here fighting nothing, they're not fighting in the centre. And as you can see, the battlefield stretches all the way across. And in this mod you can't move reinforcements from one side to the other quickly. That's not something that's going to happen. So you really have to plan ahead. And this gap we've seen early, and this is where we're going to try and force it. And this infantry battalion's getting artillery, enfilade fire against these Russian Guard columns. We wanted to show weakness here, we want them to come on. That artillery unit will secure the left, and as they pull back, half strength, they've been mauled. The Russian Guard, that hard fought ground, they ain't going to leave. They ain't going to leave easily anyway. He's got to leave them in column because of all the cavalry, but now because they're in column, they're going to face a lot of French columns. And on they come. Not sure whether these guys are brave or stupid.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
Well, there's just far too many French columns there. And they break that column straight away. Have they got any support? They've got cavalry, but not many. But as you can see, this gap has been totally left open, and if we can push through there, we can outflank the Allied right. Both send cavalry in. Both those Russian battalions, guard, been mauled. Got a massive cavalry fight. Both fresh, although it doesn't take long for them to get exhausted. That's when you need to pull them back and rest them. Looks like the French cavalry has won the day, heavy against light, and it's trying to march the infantry through, take advantage of this gap. I think the Russian right is starting to see the issue. He's starting to see that his left flank's wide open. He's starting to pull the guns back. We do have guns there though, which means the French ain't going to be able to just go straight up. Centre stationary. The Russians are moving a bit closer. I think they sense this isn't going to be the attack point. I think they now realise maybe that could be. Maybe beginning to shorten the front. And it looks like they are. They've realised they may have to give this victory point up. just to secure the flank. French corps over on this side will get orders to move forward. Chase them off the position. And all along the battlefield you can see the position of the armies. And the French are now trying to take advantage. That's a lot of dead Russian guard right there. Try and take advantage of the gap. What they need to do now is reorganise the line. We've got to pull these forces back. And it looks like we've got the French Guard coming up as reserve. And further back, looks to me like Grenadiers, yeah. So the columns move on, as you can see, while the Allies are trying to reorganise the line. It's important the French keep pushing. Pratzen Heights still secure, but they've got a lot of forces there. Wright's division has come up on the right, just to show some force to keep them there. Now it's a straight trade-off. Doesn't look like there's that many reinforcements behind. We would have to swing some down from either flank. But these lines are organising again. We've got a cavalry charge. French. We've got two, like Grenadiers, Cheval. Really heavy French cavalry from the guard, charging down those guns. You need to remove the guns from the line before you can bring the infantry up because of canister. Austrians form square. There's one brave dude. Doing a bit of a nay though, wasting them on that square. Now we have another massive cavalry battle. French have formed square on the corner, but all this Russian cav. Look at that. French cavalry's pulling back. Which means the Russian cavalry's running straight onto the French square.
Our men are running, sir!
That is just epic, look at all that cavalry. Russians have managed to form another defensive line on their right, but there was a lot of cavalry thrown into that clash. Sam's made good use of attacking with his units. and then pulling them back and getting them back to fresh again. A lot of guys can get caught up in it, just keep charging, just keep attacking, and your units will get exhausted. It'll take them an age to come back to active, and it makes them pretty useless. They might be there in numbers, but in efficiency they're gone. As you can see, with that mass cavalry battle, there's quite a lot of disorganisation in the defenders. The French have got a lot of cavalry massed on their far left. That's a great picture of the whole battle along the front. And there's going to be a charge there, I think, but the French thought better of it, just testing that flank. And in the centre, as you can see, the open battlefield now. The French have decided that's the weak point, the hinge between the two corps. That's safe. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4 victory points. We only need one more. Up and go for the LOC, which will lower the morale of the whole army, and they may break. The columns are up in the centre. The guard are coming to reinforce the right centre. More Russian guard, and we've got another cav battle.
Our men are running,
down
sir!
the field. And the French break on that one, running slightly uphill. More hussars coming in. You see the French line moving up. These battles really are of epic proportions. You just look along the whole field. Wow, canister into that Grenadiers of Cheval French cavalry. Just broke them instantly. Nice idea to have a square between the artillery. French still pushing on though. Looks like there's been a charge there. And let's have a look on the right. This is relatively fresh force. I suppose both are really. They've not engaged yet, but the right is at send reinforcements more to the centre. French are keeping the pressure on.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
Go down the line. Have we got some French cavalry attacking? Almost, but the Russians form squares, so that'll be pulled back. We've got the guard moving up the centre, but they're marching straight into guns. still pretty stagnant on Russian left, French right. This is where the action is in the centre. Grenadiers finally arriving. But that French guard is taking a lot of incoming. Further the French push up into these guns though, they're going to take a lot of punishment. Square on the far flank, it's a good idea with the cavalry mast. We've got a bit of canister getting into these French troops. And this really is a battle of attrition. It's on a massive scale. A lot of troops involved. But you see, it's all about the victory points. We only need one more to push, or we can try and break them. And that line is looking a bit thin compared to the French have reserves. There's a lot of troops over here that are not doing anything. Maybe if you moved all those reserves, but as I say, on this mod it does take a long time to move anywhere. So you do have to plan a long way ahead. Musket volleys just getting all down the line. Now it looks like the French getting charged by enemy cav. The infantry will do quite well, especially guards if they are in column. They don't have to be in square. That's a good thing about this mod. But as he's put the French in square, he's brought the infantry up. Which is a good move to take musketry fire. And this artillery is still punishing. Will we get a bayonet charge? Might give them a volley and then charge in. Have we got any supporting cavalry? No, but we've got more infantry moving up. That square ran away from the infantry fire, good play by the Russian player. Got more reserve cavalry moving over, Krassier. Where the battle's tipping one way or the other. The Austrians have decided they don't like taking all that fire from the French guard. And there's the hole created. More French cavalry charge against the artillery, which has been causing them a lot of problems. Another charge by Russian cav, broke one unit. Do need support, need to bring some infantry up. And the cavalry, mass French cavalry that broke the artillery battery is now attacking the flank. That's going to end very badly. This Russian right flank now is cut off. There's no columns to form square. Grenadiers in column there, moving up. Take advantage of the weak point. But I don't think this flank is long for this world. Just try to form column so you can form square. Yeah, he's got it. Unfortunately, the cav's done its job because the infantry's now moving up. The square's worst nightmare. And it looks like the French are giving it the bayonet. They've had a chance to get rid of this flank totally. All along this front. Charge goes up to the bayonet. Some of this cav from the right's having to come over. The whole flank's gone. So all the cavalry comes over from the right. Of course that leaves the gap for the French cavalry. And we've got a total collapse on the right flank. That whole corps just disintegrate. Once all this cav goes, which it won't stand there against cavalry and infantry.
Our men are running, sir!
Now we've turned the flank. At last the Russians have moved off the hill. They've realised there's no point in just trying to defend it. Still skirmishing on the right. The Russians should have pushed there a lot earlier. Put pressure on the French right. But they have seen it on this flank, and now they're coming off to put pressure on the French there. As you see now, along the ridge, the Russians have tried to refuse flank. That flank is totally gone, and that corps is wiped out. Great move there to pincer it around the village, and then when the penetrations hit there, full bayonet charge along the front. Now the Allies are just trying to cobble together to refuse the flank. They have got guns there. And here come the Grenadiers. They may have been late to the fight, but they're fresh, supporting the cavalry. What a Grenadier is good for. The bayonet. French need to keep the momentum up. Can't give these artillery time to get set. And the hastily formed flank starting to break. all these grenadiers.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
Meanwhile, the French right is totally wiped out the Allies on that flank. But they have come off offensively off the hill. Nice charge against some French artillery.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
And that whole side is open now. Almost got the 5 points to hit the victory point, but I think the French are going to pretty much go for total domination and try and wipe the army out. Any chance can take to wipe the whole army out, we'll take it. But we're going to have to try and get a quick defence going against these columns. We do have reinforcements moving over. Looks like they could be fresh. Yep. They're moving down to support the right. Sneaky cav charge up the hill. Could be that this player so focused around that area. He's not seeing this sneaky move. But he has forced the French back on the right over the stream. I think he's just realised now how weak they are.
The men are fatigued, sir,
So there's
and
still
must
hope
rest
if
a
they
while.
can take these 2 victory points. Let's have a charge of the light brigade. Very light brigade. Are they going to get there? I think they are. And that's pretty much 2, maybe even 3 artillery batteries that Russian player's going to lose. He's obviously looking elsewhere. I imagine probably down here. And he's just seeing him now. He's moving some hussars, but far too late.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
Problem for these French, Russian battalions that have crossed the stream here. They've got the back to the stream. More and more French are moving over. No artillery support, no cavalry support. In fact, no support whatsoever. Small pockets, small remnants, battalions. But even the centre's lost now. I'm looking forward to playing this one as the Russians and Austrians, because if anything this battle shows, you can't just sit and turtle along the front. If you give the French initiative with the manoeuvrability and the quality, it's only a matter of time. And it's like these French are moving up unloaded and then they'll switch fire at will on when they close the distance. Try and give some quality volleys in. They are in light cover, the Russians, so they won't take that many casualties, but they are getting flanked as well. Say they're up against the stream. Got a little bit of support in cavalry and enfilade fire from the artillery, but the numbers, French will keep getting more. Don't think the Russians have much more to send. They are pushing on the far left to try and take these 2 victory points to try and rescue something back. But it looks to me like they only have, what, 1 corps plus change. Desperately trying to defend over here, but they can't defend that line. These poor guys, they are being supported by the cavalry, but with a square there firing into them, they're not long for this world. Very tired, shaken. And also getting flanked. They're using the village to anchor the left, but I think they're soon to get enveloped. If I'm not mistaken, they're Grenadiers.
We have killed their general,
lining
sir.
up behind.
Now they must break.
So they'll probably use the line to shoot into them, tire them out, and then send the bayonets in. Yeah. Let's see how this charge goes.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
More Russian cavalry trying to support. Some units have been isolated to form square by French cav. Those Grenadiers broke. They've got enough strength and depth to take this fight. Yeah, the Russian broke. Russian cav coming in to save the day, they're just throwing cavalry now. French columns are in place. Wow, just broke those in one volley. An epic struggle all along that front. And I do believe we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Our men are running,
We've
sir.
almost got the 5th one, which means we can go to the LOC. The fighting was that intense and game, I don't think we realised at this point that we could go for it. We were so much concentrated on actually finishing the army off. And on the right, we're just forming a defensive line. Russians have pushed us back to the starting point.
The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
Another defensive line's formed. Well, I'd say line, 2 battalions. But they're all running now. The morale's dropping. All that French cow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this on the other side, the Russian-Austrian side. Brings up some pretty interesting scenarios of what to do. I don't think we'll be as passive as they were in this battle.
Our men are running, sir!
Wow. Just wrecked that unit. That distance canister to the face. They're not going to survive. Guard running in though. We'll have no more of that. Now there's only the Pratzen Heights left. They're pushing on the far right still. Let's have a look what's going on over there. They've decided to try and cross the bridge. They're going for it. It's going to be very tough though. French are waiting for them. Could well end up with a last stand on the heights. Yeah, all broken. Morale's dropping fast. Let's try and cross over the bridge. Cavalry attack, leaving the guy on the porch. Decided to go in the house. Bit of bayonet ballet. Cavalry charging as well. Russians at stand. Nope, they broke. Sending more cavalry, but it's such a choke point. I can't see how they're going to get it across. You'd need 4 or 5 as many troops numbers to take that at least. But I suppose it is a bit of a last throw of the dice. If he doesn't take those victory points, all is lost for sure anyway. And we've got the last line. Last line of the Russians forming on the hill. I'm pretty sure now that the French have sent some units to the victory point, the LOC, yeah. If they take that, they may well just fold and run. But this was an epic battle on a massive scale. I've also got the Battle of Marengo coming very soon. Hopefully that will follow this one, and that's possibly even bigger. Very good battle. It's a good watch. There's no way these Russians will get over that bridge successfully. If you take an overview, you can just see what the Russians have got left. Outflank to the left, outflank to the right. They'll just get enveloped. Last charge of the Russian cav. That was broke. And that daring attempt over the bridge has failed. So as you can see, we're going to get one unit in the LOC. As soon as these, I think it's that one there. As soon as the LOC, which is 3 LOC points, are taken, it's one for each general. As soon as one's killed, the army.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, sir.
It's just a very good way of sort of like the line of communications. If that's taken, the army would have to pull back and withdraw anyway, so it's a good way to simulate that. Yeah, as you can see, they're fighting against the LOC now. And it's only a matter of time.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
As you can see, some of the units now, the LOC, it's been taken, they're starting to run. Shattered, shattered. As soon as that general's dead in the LOC, they will just turn tail and flee. I think in this one there's 3, but the unit only managed to kill 2, so that's why some units haven't ran. The rest of the armies just turned tail and ran. As you can see, just run.
A glorious victory, sir, is soon to be yours.
So it was a great battle. Normally that would mean that all the units from Russians, because the LOC was taken, would turn and run. But because one of them survived, there's a few units that are still alive, which take us a little bit of time to mop up, but I don't think it's really just watching that. So I'd like to thank the guys, Jorin, Sam, Andre, Comley, Pharaoh, for a really good game, and as I say, I've got Battle of Marengo to follow, and hopefully you're enjoying the battles. They are pretty epic, pretty intense, and we have really good fun seeing what happens with them. So, I'll see you next time.